In the shadowed wilderness of North America, when the last sunlight drains from hills and hollows, a quiet predator begins to move. The bobcat, compact, muscular, wearing a coat mottled with earth tones, depends on one extraordinary gift to thrive when darkness settles: its vision. Understanding how these wild cats see, and how that sight guides every aspect of their lives, reveals why they have become masters of twilight and moonlit forests. Bobcats belong to the lynx family, and like their larger cousins, they are equipped with eyes built for dusk. Their pupils are elliptical slits by day, but at night they widen into near-perfect circles, flooding the retina with ambient light. Behind the retina lies a mirror-like layer called the tapetum lucidum, which bounces photons back through the sensory cells, doubling the amount of information each eye receives. This is why a bobcat's eyes shine with an eerie yellow-green glow when caught in a flashlight beam. It's the reflection of light being recycled for maximum sensitivity. This anatomical design gives bobcats the power to detect even the faintest tremor of movement at low light levels. Their hunting schedule depends on this gift. They are crepuscular and nocturnal, most active from sunset to sunrise. In grasslands, pine barrens, swamps, or high deserts, they slip between shadows, using their keen sight to pick out the outline of a rabbit frozen among stems or a mouse darting along a fallen log. Their depth perception is exceptional. Forward-facing eyes provide overlapping fields of view, allowing accurate pounces even in near darkness. Vision is not just for stalking prey. It shapes how bobcats navigate space. They memorize landmarks: a pale snag of wood, the silver gleam of water, the ridge of a boulder under moonlight. Their home ranges, which can stretch over several square miles, are mapped through repeated visual cues, blended with scent marks and whisker-sensitive touch. Kittens learn these skills early. At about 4 to 5 weeks, when their eyes change from blue to amber or hazel, they begin to practice short ambushes under their mother's watchful gaze, perfecting coordination between sight, muscle, and timing. Scientific studies using night vision cameras show that bobcats rely less on speed than on visual calculation. Before every leap, they freeze, pupils adjusting, head tilting slightly as they triangulate distance. Their hind legs, coiled like springs, release only when the target is precisely locked in the mind's eye. Success depends on stealth and split-second accuracy, a partnership between eyesight and athletic power. Seasonal changes add another layer. Winter's long nights favor the cat. Snow reflects moonlight, amplifying available brightness, while the bobcat's pale undercoat provides camouflage against frozen landscapes. Summer nights are shorter, but alive with insect hum and rustling vegetation, demanding patience and sharper focus. During storms or dense fog, when vision is muted, bobcats shift closer to cover or delay hunts, showing how finely tuned their behavior is to the quality of light. Humans studying bobcat eyes under microscopes find a high density of rod cells, the light-sensitive receptors that outperform cones in dim conditions. Cones still exist, allowing daytime color perception, mainly muted yellows, greens, and blues, but rods dominate, giving the cat a world rich in texture rather than hue after dusk. This visual balance explains why bobcats remain effective hunters across dawn, dusk, and full darkness. In ecosystems, such prowess matters. By regulating rodent and rabbit numbers, bobcats maintain balance in plant communities and indirectly support predators higher up the chain. Their ability to function under starlight lets them exploit times and spaces where competitors falter, cementing their place as apex mesopredators of North American nights. For people lucky enough to glimpse a bobcat after dark, the encounter often begins with 2 floating embers reflecting back from the gloom. Those eyes, steady and unblinking, speak of a lineage refined by millennia of silent watching. They remind us that while technology may grant humans flashlights and night vision gear, nature perfected nocturnal mastery long before. The bobcat's gaze is not only a tool for survival, it is a window into wildness itself, a calm, calculated brilliance that lets this elusive feline rule the darkness with elegance and precision. A bobcat's eye is a masterpiece of natural engineering. The cornea and lens are slightly larger, in proportion to body size, than those of many similar-sized mammals. This allows more light to be gathered and focused on the retina, which is rich in rod cells. Rods detect even the smallest traces of light, enabling the cat to hunt in starlight or under a thin crescent moon. Cones, which sense color, are fewer but still give the bobcat a muted palette useful in daylight. This balance between rods and cones makes their eyes perfect for twilight, the time when many prey species are active. Their tapetum lucidum isn't just reflective. It's finely tuned to the wavelengths most common at dawn and dusk, which means their eyes are adapted to the very hours they prefer to move. Researchers have measured that bobcats can see movement at distances beyond what most domestic cats achieve, an advantage when scanning open meadows or forest edges. How vision shapes hunting strategies. Bobcats rarely sprint blindly after prey. Instead, they blend stealth with patient observation. A hunting sequence often begins with a pause. The cat freezes, head slightly lowered, eyes wide. Muscles remain tense but still, ready to unleash stored energy the moment its target makes the slightest mistake. In snowy regions, bobcats often perch on a rock or fallen log, letting their vision sweep across pale terrain. Snow amplifies moonlight, making it easier to detect the soft tracks or silhouettes of a snowshoe hare. In deserts, where shade is scarce, the cats learn to wait until the sky softens from orange to violet, timing hunts to coincide with falling light levels. Here their eyes are an equalizer, allowing them to outperform competitors like coyotes, which rely more on scent than fine visual cues. Teaching the young. For bobcat kittens, learning to trust their eyes is part of survival training. Around 4 to 5 weeks, their initially blue eyes deepen to amber or hazel, signaling maturity of the visual system. Mothers lead them out of dens at dawn or dusk, encouraging short ambush games. These early lessons strengthen muscles and sharpen the connection between what they see and how they move. By late summer, young bobcats have mastered the art of sitting motionless, pupils wide, scanning grass for subtle movements. Each successful pounce teaches them that clear sight and quick response are inseparable. This training ensures that, by their first winter, they can navigate the dark with a confidence rivaling that of adults. Regional variations in vision use across North America. Bobcats adapt their visual skills to diverse habitats. Forests and woodlands. Thick canopy limits starlight, so bobcats use short, silent stalks and pause often, letting their eyes adjust to shifting shadows. Wetlands. Here, reflections from water complicate perception. Bobcats learn to read faint ripples or glints that signal frogs or fish. Their vertical pupils help them manage contrasts between dark reeds and moonlit surfaces. Although bobcats are highly adaptable, modern life presents new visual challenges. Expanding suburbs and highways introduce light pollution, a glow that drowns out the stars and alters natural nightscapes. For a predator whose success depends on the delicate balance between darkness and moonlight, too much artificial light can disrupt hunting schedules. Bobcats near brightly lit roads may hesitate to cross, cutting them off from territories or food sources. Researchers studying motion-activated cameras have noticed that cats avoid areas with constant floodlights, preferring corridors where shadows remain deep and natural. Wildlife corridors and dark sky reserves are becoming vital tools to ensure these stealthy hunters keep their advantage. By maintaining patches of true darkness, conservationists give bobcats and other nocturnal predators a chance to behave as they evolved, stalking, waiting, and pouncing with eyes that have spent millennia fine-tuning themselves for twilight. Throughout history, the intense stare of a bobcat has captured human imagination. Indigenous stories often depict them as wise guardians, or as tricksters who see truths hidden from others. Some tribes believed the cat's gleaming eyes held the power to pierce deception, linking them to clarity and vigilance. In modern culture, photographers chase that rare moment when a bobcat pauses long enough for its luminous gaze to fill a frame, a living symbol of wilderness patience. Artists frequently portray their eyes as beacons of untamed knowledge, golden, liquid, and unwavering. Writers use the metaphor of a bobcat's gaze to describe someone with sharp insight or a knack for detecting lies. These cultural echoes remind us that the animal's way of looking at the world is more than biological. It has inspired generations to respect the mystery of wild observation. Field biologists often recall mesmerizing encounters during night surveys. One researcher in the Appalachian Mountains described setting a camera trap and, hours later, feeling as though something watched her. When she glanced up, a bobcat crouched on a nearby log, its eyes reflecting amber beams from her headlamp. Rather than flee, it remained still, studying her before melting back into shadow. That moment, silent, unhurried, revealed how vision is both weapon and shield, letting the cat judge risk with perfect calm. Another tale comes from Arizona's canyon country, where a male bobcat routinely perched atop sandstone cliffs at dusk. Locals dubbed him the Watcher. For years, hikers spotted his outline against fading skies, eyes glowing faintly like desert stars. His ability to read subtle movements in the brush below kept him well fed, while his awareness of people allowed him to remain unbothered by their curiosity. Bobcat's exceptional eyesight didn't emerge overnight. It is the product of thousands of generations refining features that suited survival. Early ancestors of today's lynx-like cats roamed open plains and wooded edges, where a keen gaze meant the difference between a meal and starvation. Natural selection favored individuals who could see in dim conditions, detect flickers of motion, and judge distances with flawless precision. Modern bobcats carry these ancient gifts. Their forward-facing eyes provide binocular vision, essential for calculating leaps or gauging the height of logs they spring from. The width between pupils, combined with facial whiskers, gives them a three-dimensional map of their environment, even when shadows blur shapes. Such accuracy explains their near-perfect strike rate on unsuspecting prey, rabbits, voles, and even roosting birds. Protecting the conditions that allow bobcats to use their eyes as nature intended is crucial. Urban planners and wildlife agencies increasingly collaborate to create night-friendly habitats, planting native vegetation to shield bright roads, installing motion-sensing lights that dim when no movement is present, and educating communities about the value of darkness. By limiting glare and preserving patches of wilderness, we safeguard not only bobcats but owls, bats, and countless insects that depend on nocturnal rhythms. As technology evolves, researchers may develop lenses and optics modeled after a bobcat's own eye, helping humans see more clearly in low light without flooding landscapes with artificial beams. In this way, the quiet hunter might guide us toward better stewardship of nighttime worlds.